What if I told you there exists a room so steeped in mystery, so cloaked in horror, that it's been deliberately erased from most records? Hidden deep in the freezing Bavarian Alps, there's a legend whispered only amongst locals, the legend of the Celestial Room. This chamber, they say, holds secrets too terrifying to speak of aloud. And yet, its story refuses to fade, clawing its way back into the waking world. So gather around, for tonight's tale dives straight into shadows that have consumed countless souls. Welcome to the Nightside Archive. This is the story of the dark legend of the Celestial Room. Our journey begins in the mid-1940s, during the chaos of World War II. The Bavarian Alps, renowned for their picturesque landscapes, were also home to secretive Nazi hideouts and clandestine operations. But there was one particular site, a peculiar facility built beneath Mount Schneeberg, where strange experiments were rumored to occur. Officially, it was a geological research laboratory. Unofficially, it was a nightmare factory. The Celestial Room got its name not because it was beautiful, but because it contained an eerie rendering of the cosmos, carved painstakingly on its walls. This mosaic of stars, planets, and constellations wasn't astronomically accurate, however. Instead, it aligned with no known celestial map, leaving experts baffled. Some believed it was an artistic fantasy, a symbolic representation of Hitler's obsession with mystical and cosmic power. But others held a more chilling theory, that it depicted a gateway to something far beyond our comprehension. In 1946, a group of American soldiers tasked with locating valuable Nazi relics stumbled upon the chamber. Records from the time remain disturbingly vague. What we do know is that the soldiers reported an overwhelming sense of dread upon entering. Their radio transmissions crackled with distorted static, and their voices sounded agitated. Witnesses reported hearing the commander repeatedly say the phrase, "shifting lights," though the full context remains unclear. 3 days later, the soldiers re-emerged. Strangely, they refused to speak of what they'd seen. Some resigned from their duties entirely, moving to remote areas, vanishing from public life. One even took his own life, leaving behind a cryptic note that simply read, "It watches." In the years that followed, whispers of the Celestial Room began surfacing again. Hikers claimed odd encounters, a sudden, inexplicable drop in temperature, the sensation of being watched, and even glimpses of unearthly light patterns emerging from crevices on the mountain. Some went searching for the chamber, lured by the legend. Many were never seen again. Of the few that returned, their accounts were chilling, but wildly inconsistent. One woman described hearing an otherworldly hum that seemed to vibrate through her entire body. Another swore he saw shadow figures moving against the mosaic's light. And then there's the eerie photograph from 1983, taken by an amateur spelunker exploring the remnants of Schneeberg's tunnels. The photo allegedly captured a portion of the Celestial Room. The image is grainy, and skeptics have dismissed it as a hoax. However, analysts point out a bizarre detail. The photograph appears to show movement within the static carving, subtle, like stars shifting, as if alive. Scientists and skeptics tried to rationalize the phenomenon. It's psychological, they'd say, a trick of light and sound within enclosed spaces. And yet even the most hardened skeptics couldn't explain away the countless disappearances, nor why every retrieval team deployed to find missing hikers either refused further attempts or mysteriously abandoned their careers altogether. A disturbing pattern emerged. Those who dared investigate too deeply into the Celestial Room paid a price. Some theorists propose the room serves as more than a physical space. They believe it's a thin spot, a location where the veil between our world and another grows weaker. Could the shifting mosaics align with some cosmic anomaly, serving as a beacon or portal? If so, to what? Or to whom? Tragically, there are whispers of unspeakable rituals conducted by Nazi officers within the chamber, hinting at attempts to summon entities from beyond the stars. Survivors' fragmented accounts tell of chanting, sacrifices, and the overwhelming presence of something ancient, a force they couldn't describe but liken to becoming insignificant under its gaze. Fast forward to the present day. The celestial room might remain a mystery, but modern adventurers still seek its secrets. In 2019, 3 urban explorers live-streamed their descent into Schneeberg's tunnels. For the first hour, the footage was unremarkable, typical of abandoned structures filled with graffiti and decaying machinery. But then, as they ventured deeper, everything changed. The camera began flickering erratically, capturing fleeting bursts of light. Their voices, once filled with excitement, morphed to quiet murmurs of unease. They described a bizarre metallic sound, echoing faintly, that seemed to come from all directions. And then, abruptly, the stream cut off. For weeks, the explorers were considered missing, until 2 were found wandering several miles from the original entrance site. They were dehydrated, disoriented, and terrified, and their memories blank, completely void of the incident. One survivor later claimed to experience recurring nightmares of infinite star fields, always followed by a faceless presence whispering incomprehensible messages. The 3rd member of their group remains missing. Authorities searched tirelessly for over a month, only to find no trace beyond scattered equipment. To this day, he's presumed dead. Speculation continues over who or what may still linger within that chamber. Was it merely Nazi myths spun out of control? Or did the experiments tamper with forces man was never meant to understand? The celestial room defies our scientific understanding and conventional wisdom. It stands as both a relic of mankind's thirst for power and a reminder of how sometimes the unknown should remain unknown. But perhaps what chills us the most is the silence of the mountain itself, how it hides its secrets even now. With every disappearance, every eyewitness, and every new clue, the celestial room grows more sinister. For those who are curious enough to brave the Schneeberg, be warned. Not every mystery is meant to be solved, and not every door should be opened. And with that, fellow Nightseers, I leave you with a question. If you were standing at the entrance of this cursed room, mosaic lights dancing before you, and the air weighing thick with unseen gravity, would you step inside? Or would you turn away, never to speak of it again? Think carefully. Some doors, once opened, refuse to close. Thank you for joining us for this chapter of the Nightside Archive. Until next time, stay curious, but tread carefully, for you never know when a mystery might reach out and find you.